All right, this is the regular board meeting of KMIC. It is now 10 a.m. on May 19th, 2020, and we have a quorum. Ms. Michael, will you read us the pledge, and Ms. Adams, will you read us the invocation?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most graciously, God, and most naturally, God, is good, Father, we come today. Thank you for being God and God all by yourself, Father. We just pray, oh God, as we go through this meeting, Father, I never say we please acceptable in your sight. We pray, oh God, continue to lead us down to the rest and all that we say and do. Yes, all the best and knowledge of Christ Jesus' name. We pray this to God. Amen.
The district provides a special link to the public comment sign-up sheet from the meeting. This link is on our district webpage under our school board. No anonymous submissions will be read. Public comment participants must follow procedural guidelines of submitting name and topic on public comment sign-up sheet. Comments submitted shall not take more than 2 minutes for the board president to read to the board. No submission will be given less than 1 minute. The district followed the public comment procedures for this meeting. The public comment sign-up time ended 20 minutes before the start of the regular meeting. The submission times are listed on the notice for this meeting. The district thanks you for your interest and comments to the board of trustees. No comments. At this time, the board will now recognize by selecting officers or by general consent.
Mr. President, I move we elect the same officers by acclamation.
I second it, Mr. President.
Mr. Smith's made a motion. Ms. McElwain with a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries. Early this morning. I need a motion to approve the consent items as presented in minutes of the regular board meeting of the Board of Trustees on April 21st, 2020, and the required summer school program. Mr. Williams made a motion. Mr. Adams has made a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, graduation will be next Thursday. I'm sorry, now, June 4th, which I believe is Thursday. We're going to have the students come in one vehicle. Each student's going to be receiving 4 tickets. There will be a COVID questionnaire as part of the ticket process that they have to have signed when they come in, and that is their ticket in. We're going to allow 2 parents or 2 guests on the field with each graduate. So when the parents will walk down to pick up the diploma, we'll have a professional photographer there to take a picture with the parents, let's say, and the graduate. And so that will alleviate parents coming on the field, get pictures and all that. So we will give that picture to them at a later date once we have that process. The stage will be in the center of the field. Graduates will be basically on both sides, cover the whole field. 2 seats will be designated in the home side. First come, first served still. There's not any reserved seating, so to speak, but you have to sit in these designated spots. So and the reason why is because if you walk down, you're not within 6 feet of this person and all that. We'll have hand sanitizer stations as they come in. All seniors will have a mask with the logo and 2020 or something on it. They'll be required to wear those prior to the ceremony. As they enter the stadium, they can take their mask off. broadcast every senior and their accolades. So if they call J.P. Richardson, photo, and then what that student was involved in and what maybe scholarships or some things they've done, make them stand out a little bit better. As we exit, the stands will exit first, then we'll do the reverse order exit, and we will exit by rows out of the stadium. It's going to be you cannot practice, so we have to come up with a video, show people how this is going to work. Yeah, you can talk about that, sure. Only you will be on the stage. We can only have 3 people on the stage. So unless y'all want to give that up, you can, but normally it's the board president that is on the stage. And so it'll be Mr. Quick, myself, and you on the stage. And we're still kind of debating on you handing out the diplomas, because you cannot really do hand-to-hand, but you'll have a glove on, and you might be the one that just kind of pushes the diploma over for the parents to pick up. And so we'll get all of those specifics outlined there. So it's going to be very strict. We've got 4 security police officers on board. We'll have EMS there. I told Mr. Quick this morning, because we will also have elderly folks on the field. And depending on the heat, we might push it back to 9 o'clock, just because of having so many people that are not acclimated to the heat on the turf. And so we might, earlier in that week, watching the weather, we might have to push it back till 8 or 9 o'clock.
What time do you get set for?
7. 7. We got word yesterday we can have kids in the building for summer school, but, no indoor graduations, no indoor ceremonies at this point. If it is a rain out, we'll just go with it the following night. We'll just keep pushing it back until we can do that.
At what point are the parents going to actually go on the field?
They will go on the field when they first get there.
But they won't be in the stadium at all, and that'll be for the extra 2 tickets.
That'll be for the extra 2 tickets, yes.
Will they be seated up there or standing?
They'll be seated next to the graduate.
Oh,
So the graduate will be seated, he'll have a parent, or a guest and a guest. And then when his name is called, or her name, then they'll all 3 walk up, and they'll be the one responsible for grabbing it all. And then we'll have a photography down there, and they'll take the picture with the guests.
The parents from back to us, saying,
Parents go back to the seat on the field, and then at the end, we'll have a fireworks show. And that'll shoot up in the air. Everybody's got to stay seated. We're still contemplating about 2 vehicles, seniors in 1 vehicle, but it just seems appropriate if we keep everybody in 1 vehicle. I get it. There might be some, I'm not going to ride with her. I was married to her, Then you can park wherever at B&B, you can park in our parking lot, because there's going to be plenty of parking back here, and just walk in with your vehicle. So you don't have to necessarily ride with your X or whatever it may be. And,
the 4 tickets includes the child's parents?
yeah, 4 adults.
4 adults.
Or it can be, a little brother and sister.
Yeah.
Now, we are limiting it as far as infants. If you have, that's fine, but we don't want to see a 7-year-old being carried by a mama in the stands saying, trying to pass this 7-year-old off as a baby. So there's going to be so many seats. So limited probably to about 10 years old on the field. If they're, for some reason, that one of your guests can. So we don't want to get too young, then we'll have bathroom breaks and having to run back and forth and all that. It's going to be a process.
They didn't notify them, you said?
No.
They don't.
No, they don't know this, we gotta make a video and kind of show them how this is gonna roll out. But they do not know about, they knew about the tickets, but they don't know, yeah, they knew about the tickets.
What about the,
Well, there'll be warnings given out to the parents or everything else that they do not follow, so that chief is what will happen.
Yeah, that's my law enforcement thing. The problem's not gonna be with the kids, the problem's gonna be with the parents.
Yep.
And yes, that's gonna be where the problem stems from, is I'm on that field, no, you cannot get on the field. You gotta exit the stadium. And then during the ceremony, we have to have officers stand guard in case somebody tries to come in that way, because you might have somebody try to sneak in that way. And it'll be real obvious when you've got designated twos everywhere, and you've got some person sitting over here, they're gonna stand out pretty.
So they have to go to the fence taking pictures or.
Yeah.
I think it's kids, they're gonna try to do that, they try to, it's, you're gonna get arrested if you don't do that.
Well, that's why we're gonna take the pictures with a professional photographer. That way, parents, you don't have to go down the track and take a picture of your child. We're gonna have it done professionally for you.
Is that gonna be given to them?
Yes, we're gonna pay for that. We're also gonna have the video with the DVD. We'll give that to them at a later date because we'll have it on Facebook and live stream. We're gonna utilize the Jumbotron with the camera system. Also, filming during the ceremony. All speeches will be pre-recorded. That way, we don't have a lot of touching of microphones and all that. The only people that I guess will be speaking on microphone will be Mr. Quick and my 1-2 liners that I said. And, the drone.
Oh, the class up.
I kind of like the idea of having their accolades and everything on the Jumbotron. Instead of, I know they want something that they can, like a memoir to take home, but I don't know, to me, that just kind of puts a spotlight on the kids instead of everybody having to read through that booklet, because they don't ever put all their accolades in there.
Will there be any kind of booklet on it?
Being type of what?
Like the booklet, but they used to get in, you know, like.
Yes, there will be the,
Program will be.
there will be a program, that they can pick up as they enter. And then,
This is, you're expecting it to be longer than the regular.
well, once we get everybody situated, yeah, it'll take a little bit longer because the exit, it won't be a mass exodus. We did order extra caps for everybody. They'll be placed underneath the seat so they can throw those caps.
Awesome.
And they don't have to go pick them up. Because that was one of the things that we were concerned about is, they're gonna want their cap back. So now we've got extra caps that they can throw. And then they don't have to touch them.
Are you gonna keep them together, that's what the field will do that?
Because they have to go back and be seated in their spot, fireworks show, all that stuff, and then we're gonna exit them in an orderly fashion. We're never gonna allow them that opportunity to run together, so to speak.
So when are they gonna throw their?
I guess right at the end when we do, you're now graduated or whatever, the fireworks show goes off, yeah.
Are we gonna have to, utilize the visitors side at all?
No, we think limiting it to the home side, we're gonna, if you're A through M, we're gonna go ahead and tell you, this is where your child's gonna be seated on the left side of the field, so when you get to the stadium, get over there, it's fine to see. And all that, so we're gonna try to make it as easy and as we can for everyone, and give them as much information up front.
Not according to the recording speeches.
Yes, that will be pre-recorded.
Oh,
Yeah, everything's gonna be pre-recorded. We will have the microphone there, of course, in case for some reason Jumbotron goes down. And they will have their speech and we'll just have to improvise things.
Well, Gallery still be doing it from the.
I don't know who's got to do it.
Oh, seriously, good as can be.
I think you're attention to detail.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you, God, about putting the parents where the kids are actually allowed to.
I love that.
People forget stuff, little something like that.
So there won't be like the formal march, like, okay, so they're still gonna enter on
Yes,
the
ma'am.
track.
Yes, it's just that the parents will already be on the track, already on the field. We're gonna contact some other athletic directors and see about getting fans and have fans stationed out around as much as possible too. Because again, we know we're gonna have some elderly people, because again, we're gonna have no umbrellas on the field. Now, you can wear big hats if you want to, ladies can wear that,
It's
but
not gonna be that hot, though.
I'm sure everybody.
I mean, it's, the sun's usually going down.
at 8 o'clock, the sun's down. But at 7 o'clock, we are all burning up, I can tell you. When we've been down there before, just what we're waiting to start, the 8 of us are burned up. So I can imagine being on the track, being on the football turf.
No.
So we'll play by ear. Hopefully we'll have a cool spell come through.
Is there a reason us to be here, or?
No, y'all do not have to be there. Again, if y'all want to be there, absolutely. I'll open the top part. You can sit up there and watch the show from up there, or you can sit from your home and watch it and view it online.
So
So they're gonna.
go in the press box, so.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, just let me know and I'll make sure I have that open for you and you can watch it from up in the press box. Or it'll be live streamed. It'll be a link on our homepage and then also Facebook. Yeah, we checked on Facebook and they said the best thing to use is your cell phone because that camera's gonna be better. So, that's the plan there. And then, senior parade is coming up. We're gonna try to get the community involved in that. You've been seeing all this online, in the news, different towns that have done the senior parades. We're gonna have all of our teachers stationed at their campuses so the kids can have that final walkthrough, with their teachers. And I think that'll be pretty cool. But it'll be a drive versus a walk. So we're still kind of debating on 2 cars still. We might let the seniors again come in another gate behind the middle school and park in a separate location, or we might just utilize this front gate. Right now, it's 1 vehicle, utilize the front gate that keeps all the access down in one area and trying to monitor that. We got plenty of parking. We'll open up the band booster concession stand gate to come in because there's ramps there. And the front gates will be open. We'll leave, probably the gate, where the TABC, Booster Club concession stand will be locked behind that when the seniors come through. After that, just to limit the access. A couple of things you're going to see, and I have a meeting tomorrow in White Oak to meet with superintendents about the calendar for next year. And you've seen some of this information. One of the main concerns the state is wanting the superintendents to think about is anytime during a COVID outbreak in a class, you're going to need to break away for about 2 weeks, that 14-day timeline. And so we're looking at building a calendar, redoing our calendar to have 2 weeks built in the school year. It might be that they're built in toward the end if we don't have to use them, or it might be that we built them in the middle around flu season. So we're going to start getting that word out after my meeting tomorrow because again, we don't want to be the only district around that does it because that doesn't always look good, but we also got to do what's best for our kids. And I think it's a pretty smart thing to do. I think it makes sense for at least a year or two to do it this way until we have a vaccine. UIL's kind of watching us too because that dictates all of our calendars kind of run together right now. Also state testing. Commissioner kind of wants all of us to be on the same page so our break isn't in the middle of state testing and So, that school calendar will change. It might be that we start the first week, students come the first week in August. I do not know. This will be a tough summer because there's not going to be a whole lot to, time probably. It's going to be a lot of planning. And that leads me to the next item that I have is, and I shared that with y'all earlier, is coming up with, different scenarios. An A day, a B day, where the kids come one day and then they stay home for distance learning the next day, and then another group comes in. We want all different types of scenarios, so when we have that, we get the word, you can have 25% or 50% capacity. Like right now, 50% capacity in that building right now. That would be 4 of us at one time. If they do that for the schools in August, then we cannot have every kid come back to school the same time. We will have a schedule where we just bring back elementary kids, and we space them out throughout the district. And the upper level will be more distance learning. We're just going to have all sorts of little scenarios. It's kind of like a emergency operations plan. This is going to be our, curriculum recovery action plan, just to be able to say, okay, we can have 50%, so let's thumb. Or if it's 25%, let's thumb what that's going to look like. How are we going to do lunches? High school, that 9th grade class, that 10th grade class, they might all travel with pods together. And the teachers come to them when they're on campus. And not leave that classroom to go to this classroom, to go to that classroom. They all stay in one location, and we come in and work with those students on those days. Yes, sir.
Who set the guideline for 4 people was 50% of that administration group?
Well, if you just look at it, they say 50% capacity. We have 8 people in, not by square footage, but I'm just saying, we have 8 people that work in the building, our building. And 50% capacity.
8, but that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Is that the number you have to go off of, or do you go off square footage number?
You would probably go off square footage, but right now, restaurants are saying 50% capacity, I guess, of their square footage. I was just using that as just kind of an example.
One reason why the restaurants are at 50% is they started out at 25% because NDT and some of these other meat suppliers told the governor that if you start now at 50 or 100%, you ain't gonna have no food. And that's the reason why the 50 deal. Administrative deal is why can't you go by office? You got an office for everybody up there.
Yeah, and
That's not, it's not the building, it's the office.
well, and again, we're going to go by the CDC guidelines. That's what I have to follow, and I will follow it. It's a recommendation, but I feel like if I start mandating people come up here when there's guidelines out there, that could cause some hurt feelings. And so, as long as I'm here, we're going to go by the CDC guidelines. Now, what that envision might look is when Mr. Milam and I leave our office, we got a mask on. We go to the bathroom, we go to the front office, we go down the hall to each other's, we wear a mask. It might be that we have to put some protocols in place for that. But I just feel like if I start dictating everybody's got to come back to work, and there's still this 50%, 25%, it could cause some hard feelings. And we've managed so far, and we've gotten the job done, I feel, better than most. And y'all should feel proud of our group of teachers our administrators and what they've done. A lot of people say, online is, oh man, it must be easy. But everybody, I don't know, y'all might just be dragged because of the online Zoom meetings and things of that nature. But it's a lot of information. It's information overload by far. Yeah. So.
But you mentioned testing or whatever. Now, this would be a good year to do a moratorium or whatever on the state testing and not have to start testing. Save a lot of money there.
Okay, Nathan?
So then if a staff member or a student is tested positive, you have to shut down for 2 weeks?
That's the question we have. Do we shut down that campus or do you shut down that classroom? What do you do when you have employees that are at that threshold where they are highly eligible to contract the virus? And they come to you and say, hey, I got to take FMLA. You know, there's going to be some things, legality, that we have to work through because of whatever reason, they're susceptible to catching it easier. And they're saying, I don't want to come back to work. So we've got to get prepared for that too. Because right now the government, they're giving rights to individuals with medical conditions, rightfully so. And so there's just a lot of questions and not enough answers currently right now.
They're telling us that if a teacher comes in that's coughing,
Yeah.
if they don't take the test, then you have to consider them.
We've ordered 45 thermometers. And, you know, part of the thing too you got to think about is how do you space out kids on a bus? And one of the things that we're working with Beth on is how do we pick up kids? You can't just roll up and go get on the bus. So you're going to have to maybe run 2 rounds. You know, think
So
about
you have to check the temperature when they get on the bus.
Yeah, you got to check the temperature when mass gets dropped off at school.
That's one thing that's gonna happen over Supply, there's gonna be a salesman over there, I guess he's a salesman. But when a student comes in the building, they got a temperature deal that automatically takes temperature of every person who comes in the building.
Wow.
Any kind of thermometer that doesn't actually touch the body and measure temperature has got a high degree of inaccuracy.
You know, the other thing we gotta look at is our holding facilities when a child comes down with fever at school. What do we usually do? We put them in the office. Wait for your mom to come. You can't do that anymore. We've got to have a separate location for kids that come down with fever at school. Isolate them. Because the last thing we need is start losing kids because we weren't prepared and we did not do what we needed to do. When the kids get dropped off at school, the 2, there'll be 2 thermometers out there for them to have their.
Okay, that's what you're not gonna say it, not, you got a lot of that every single
They're
time.
hard to find.
We ain't got ours in yet.
Good luck.
Not in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I ordered some when it first happened. I got it overnight off of Amazon. Now, I've been waiting 3 weeks on some. I mean, consider. And I don't do the protocol, yeah. We take every employee, anybody,
We're having to use all the different.
100 employees, we're checked every day.
We'll do a bunch of lines.
They come through before they clock in, they're checked,
Right.
and it has to do a questionnaire.
Yeah.
But it's hard finding this.
Yeah. So as you can tell, there's a whole lot of different scenarios that are going to be in place. If they go by the square footage, let's say a kindergarten classroom, then you can't have 22 little kids being 6 feet apart. So that might be where the AP day comes into play. Or that might be when we spread them out in larger classrooms across the district some way or another.
Well, if you have that type of regulation, UIL, you can forget sports.
You know, UIL, you're going to watch what the way we're going to get the answer on that is college and freshman. Watch how they do it, because that's what UIL will go off of. It might be that only the players can be on it, and in the stands. Maybe 2 parents per kid. And schools, back in the day, we used to get tickets. And you'd take the ticket to the out-of-town game. It might be that we have in our district, we have to go back to that.
Jersey, Bam.
Yep. There's just a whole bunch of unknowns right there. And I would imagine what they're gonna do, and they want to do it right away, is put it all back on local control. They want to push it back on superintendents and school boards and say, all right, it's all the problem now, so y'all can go back full session if you want to. You know, we are gonna have people that want distance learning. We've got to be prepared for that. That's gonna be the right, I have a feeling from this point forward. You know, we're not going to advertise that, but if you've got a child who has a medical condition that's highly susceptible to catching something, that child has that right to stay home and be educated. We've got to provide that education. So,
Do you think we'll have a lot of kids homeschooled?
no, I really don't. You might have occasional one or two, but you know, you're going to have some special needs children that maybe don't, their parents feel like, I want my child to be educated at home, but he has a brother that's in middle school and I cannot afford for him to go to middle school and catch it and bring it home to us. So I'm wanting my middle school son to stay home too. So we gotta be ready for that scenario also. But I really don't. It's kind of like summer school. I was glad to see that they opened it back up, but you know, because I think we have a lot of parents ready to send their kids back to summer school.
Yeah.
You know, go, you know,
I think that any parent that was gonna homeschool their kid would do it, for this wouldn't affect their decision. They would already be gonna do that.
Right.
Yep. All right, moving along. Summer Leadership Institute, you all know that is a no-go. But y'all got virtual. How much y'all love virtual. So I know y'all finished your hours for your cybersecurity and everything, so it'd be just like doing that. So the next thing we have is the convention in October. I do have y'all booked for that convention. That is in Dallas, October, I think, 2nd. Well, I can't change that. That's Mexico. Oh, okay.
I can't go to that.
I might have to take virtual.
Take virtual. Yeah, it might not be too bad. I think you can do it, if you're in Mexico in June
No,
24th, you can do it, you know, there.
They don't get that.
They don't have internet down there.
Yeah.
All the questions on this one, I know off.
what, we have like
Yeah. Well, we have our local,
Saturday or something like
Yeah.
that.
we have our local, but you remember, you've got to get 5 hours, plus your 3-hour local. So you got to get 8 hours.
Did the cyber security training, does that count?
That's required.
But they're not gonna hire you, but you don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
You should be getting reminders.
I don't know, I thought maybe you more normal than I have, you know, I don't know somebody that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
All right, we'll look them up. So. Okay, Mr. Mine, we're gonna let you go.
Right.
You've been waiting.
When we gonna start baseball, is that what you gonna tell us?
Oh, we had a little pep rally, the governor said sports started, but we can find practice, that's just practice. Games can start earlier on, I think they maybe June 15th.
Do what now?
Summer sports,
Oh, yeah.
but I think some local judges get over the road.
Well, just like the Outlaws Saloon over there. Mayor Longview said that's the governor's road, I guess not Longview's road, or they got them over.
All right.
All right, let's first jump to this cost savings tab. All right, Dr. Richard wanted me to just look at some of the big ticket items that maybe just right off the top of our head that we're saving money by not going to school. And so is that tab working this cost savings tab? Can you get on that? So I just threw some things together compared from last year to this year. One where this was basically, we didn't go in the hole. That was just those few utility type stuff and some other things that we just think at the top of our head, we're probably gonna be saving money this year. And so I just compared that to this year where I'm expected to save this much money based on, natural gas, fuel tank, all the buses are full, fill them up, and then we're filling up our reserve tank where prices are down right now. So that's why we're doing that. So I'm anticipating saving money there. Substitutes, obviously we don't need substitutes. We're not in school. Umpires, refs, electric bill obviously will be lower. This is just a rough estimate because we haven't got the bill since the time period where air conditioners were shut off. In fact, we should be getting that this week. And so I'll be able to do a better estimate of how much electricity we're going to save. So anyway, we kind of want to look at, now that doesn't include the small little ticket items like, we didn't have board election this year, save a little bit of money there. Maybe we're not traveling as much. Those are just kind of small things, but I just kind of thought we had some bigger things that have an idea. So keeping that amount in mind, can you go back to the budget, that first tab? So with that savings in the budget, we adopted a surplus budget, and then with the $299 savings in that previous tab, it's going to get us around there projected right now. Now, what that doesn't take into account is that we're probably going to have to raise the budget before year end for lawyer fees type stuff that's happened in the past that we haven't addressed yet because we're kind of waiting. So that'll affect that bottom line a little bit. And, tax collections will probably going to be around 98%. So now the INS, that should be pretty accurate. In fact, that's how much we have in the bank right now on the INS side. Now we still have an August payment coming up. So it's about $250,000, I believe. So anyway, that's this year where we stand this year, rough estimate. All right, so where we really kind of get lost is next year. And there's three things at play. Obviously, always property value, your ADA or WADA, and then the funding mechanisms that the state passed last legislation. The thing is that's going to change. We've been told over and over that there's going to be more funding based on COVID-19 and the supplies that are going to be needed and probably academic support from online standpoint. So these numbers that I'm using right now are based on the current law, which are expected to change dramatically. Okay. Now, this column refers to what our compressed tax rate will be unless we add the 1 cent, which has got to get unanimous board approval, add the 1 cent over here. So there's a 1 cent difference between this bottom line and this bottom line. Okay. Now, that's with the estimated property values, which is around $807 million right now. We got that last week or so, and that's the estimated. Now, Dr. Rich and I talked to Cook over at Rusk County, and he anticipates, but obviously the preliminary always a little bit lower than what the final will be. He feels like the plant was going to be stable, and there's not going to be anything with those guys. But I anticipate that going up probably another 5%. But we're going to estimate revenue on the low end side to be conservative. I anticipate that going up a little bit. But as that property value goes up, the state aid will go down a little bit. So they're working kind of with each other. So this is a pretty good estimate right now, except that TA says they're probably going to give us some more money based on the current situation. And I'm not sure when that's going to be, when they're going to set out those new templates, or when what has to be approved on the backside of that. We're just kind of being told by the commissioner. And he's supposed to speak today, I believe, about the CARES Act. That $85,000 we raised the budget the last board meeting or two.
Yes.
For the technology stuff. That's reflected in this based on we spent this much, we're going to get exactly that much back based on the CARES Act. And he's going to speak today about the timeline, not necessarily how much we're going to get. Nobody knows how much we're going to get. I'm sure it's going to have to do with our ADA or part of our WADA on how much we will get from the CARES Act that will be reimbursable for this online technology, any other mask or anything of that nature that will help protect us there. So again, the difference is going to be that 1 cent from that bottom line to this bottom line. Now, that takes into account a step raise only for teachers, and that equates to an average of $780 raise per teacher if they just get their step, because we increase the step, not just increase the pay, but we increase the steps. So if they just get their step raise, and then all the others get a 1.5% raise, which is about 790 the teachers getting. That's about an average of 1.5%. So typically in the past, we've kind of done that equal to our cafeteria workers and our custodians, secretaries and whatnot. That same percentage raise that teachers got, they got too. So that's with the 1.5% raise. That's with us adding Head Start to our payroll instead of the federal payroll. Because in the past, Region 7's been paying them, and now we've got to pay those teachers. So it's adding that in there. It's taken away, I think we spent $400,000, maybe a little more than that for buses last year. Well, we're not gonna do it this year, but that's expenditures taken out. So there's a lot of things taken in and out to get to that total expenditure right here. Okay. But again, things can change. Property value's gonna change, income's gonna change. But when that's gonna happen, I hope before August, we gotta put that up the budget for August 31st.
And the total tax rate doesn't change with a penny. More than unanimous vote for that, so it would stay the same.
Yeah, stay to us.
We feel confident that when it's, the word we've received is they're okay with the value, so to speak. So that was good news to hear. I do want to try to purchase another route bus, try to get back into a rotation. So there'll be some things coming off of that 333. And again, that's a fresh number. We might decide we want to do stuff for teachers more so than a step raise. But just right now, we did this, I believe, in February. It was our first meeting on this in March, and then, COVID broke loose. So I kind of want to get back into the routine of kind of showing you some rough estimates. The CARES Act he's talking about, we were told FEMA was going to pay for all this. Go ahead and get it. FEMA's paying for it, but FEMA has taken the standpoint of unless it is immediately needed right now. And so we all got bad information on that. But the CARES Act will cover this, and we feel confident on that. And so,
How many Head Start teachers,
two.
is that for all day or?
Yeah, it would go all day, every day.
And you were going to include employees, kids this year?
Yes. Since he's got to cut back so much on his daycare, we'll try to help him out over
But just, basically on my looking at it, the real property, the value of it moved up 30%.
Yep.
And the royalty tax is down 60%.
I got our renewals in last week, and I could have fell out my share.
I mean, it just, without even going.
The valuation.
The property value.
And I think what Weldon said, because I brought the same question, looking at my own property personal tax, it went up, and how is the property value totally going down? And he said, just had to do that January 1st. The formulas that they gave him, that January 1st price of oil, if I remember right, price per barrel in January 1 was not what they estimated to be. And I think that's why formulas kind of, that was his response. I asked him the same thing.
Can't remember, $40 a barrel or 65?
They were estimating 65.
65, that's what our state budget's based on.
When do they get their valuation on, when does Weldon get his guidelines on how much to value the market value of each property?
It just did across the board, he didn't get no value nowhere.
Because some of mine was real severe, but I've got a landowner right up in Root Bottom that I look after a place for. And it's surrounded on two sides by the coal mine. It's landlocked. And they went, last year, the property market value on the property was $295,000. This year, the market value on the property is $458,000.
Wow.
This is a river bottom tract. Cherokee Bio runs through it. Half of it's swampland. 453,000 for 398 acres. And she called me on the phone right away. She said, "You got to go up there and do something about that."
And that's what, we gotta be careful of too, people saying, hey, I can't pay, I'm protesting.
There's
Well, there's gonna be a lot of protests this year, I
Kensington had a house up there now, we got,
Yeah.
it's like $50,000 difference.
Yeah.
in this year. 40
All right, so if you want to scroll down a little bit. Well, is that an update? Is that, there you go.
Now, this is what was on the board.
There you go.
Is there, I need to open the email?
No, that's it right there. So just, Dr. Richard wanted me to go through just some cash flow type stuff. If you'll just focus on the total going across, this top is last year, the total going across this year. And so if you'll just scroll out to the last month, April, last month we reconciled bank accounts. This is where we stood, just cash value in our general operating fund that didn't count debt service, which is at 1.3. So that's how much cash we had in the bank at the end of April last year, and this is this year. Again, state funding went up. We got some stuff we're gonna get toward the end of the year, we book back to next year, but that's not gonna affect what you're looking at now, but. Anyway, who want me to show you that?
Yeah, well, I think, I don't know if I've shown this to y'all before, but if y'all seen it, this is it's one of our Mile and I's checks and balances, basically, that we utilize. So if we see a number that's really out of whack, we can go, okay, what's going on here? And in our monthly meetings, and when we meet, we go over this spreadsheet and we discuss it. And it just makes us feel a little safer, knowing that, okay, nothing squirrely's going on out there, so to speak. And I thought this would be a good tool just to kind of just show you. It's very simple math, but it's just another checks and balances that we utilize. All right. Good job. Any
Brad,
questions? All right, man.
You want to grab Mr.
Yeah, tell him to come out here in about 5 minutes when we're ready for him. Good to see y'all.
It's got a kitchen deal, I don't think.
Got a full knee surgery in 2 weeks.
Meniscus or?
I already had scope. And it's scoped about 6 years ago.
All right, next thing I have is consider improved instructional materials allotment. We do this every year. You're gonna see also some waivers coming up pretty soon, and I'll go through those. So the first thing I have is the instructional materials allotment and teach certification. This deals with our textbook adoption that we do every year. That we had that work with.
Great.
Yes.
Do I have a motion to approve the 2020-21 instructional materials allotment and TEAPS certification?
Mr. President.
Mr. McElroy made a motion.
Second.
Ms. Atkins, second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Stand up. Okay. Motion carries.
The next item I have is to consider improved updating board policy DEA local. You will recall, we did this at our last meeting, provide through guidance through FEMA. We found out that was not going to be the case, so I'm removing it and adding our former policy that we had in place.
I need a motion to approve updating board policy DEA and local compensation and benefits compensation plan, removing the provision for premium pay approved for and during the COVID-19 pandemic.
President, so moved.
Mr. Williams made a motion. All right. Can we say Stephen? Mr. Skinner, second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries.
The next item I have for the board to approve is our missed school day instructional continuity attestation while closed waiver. What this allows us to do is to keep receiving funding for the week of March 16th. The state says you are closed, but you were instructing during that time. So this is one of the waivers that we'll need to approve the funding.
Need a motion to approve the missed school day instructional continuity attestation while closed waiver.
Mr. President, I so move.
Ms. McElroy, Ms. Amy, Ms. Second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries unanimously.
And goes along with it. Basically, we're president and I sign off on it stating that we, are in agreement on the missed school day waiver. And that we provided online virtual, learning to our students.
No, is that correct?
No, you did the right one. This just backs it up.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the closed but committed to providing instructional attestation statements. Mr. Everett, a motion.
I'll second it.
Ms. McElwain, second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries unanimously.
Next one is our CPR. Every senior has to go through CPR. We usually do that toward the end of the year. So the state is requiring us to fill out a waiver for the schools that did not complete that.
I need a motion to approve the CPR instruction requirements waiver. Ms. Amy, please make a motion. Mr. Skinner, second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries. Yes.
The next item, the state requires us to do an inventory. Of course, we cannot really do inventory currently right now for our instructional materials that we purchased through our instructional material allotment money that you reported a few minutes ago. So we'd ask for this waiver.
Do you have a motion approving the instructional materials inventory requirements? Mr. McElwain, make a motion. Have a second? Ms. Amy, second. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. All right, the board will now convene in a closed meeting to discuss the following items posted on our agenda this morning is allowed by the Texas Government Code 551.074 involving resignation and employment of professional personnel and reviewing contracts for term and probationary contract employees. No voting will take place in the closed meeting. Any action the board wishes to take as a result of discussions in closed session will take place after the board reconvenes in the open meeting. It is now 10:53 a.m.
We'll take a minute break if you want to. We'll get started on personnel. We still go on time. I need to speak faster, talk faster.